Awesome. All right, again, I apologize for the late start. So I'm going to call our Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, March 24th to order, and the time is 6:11, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a few announcements. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Financial assistance applications are available on the town's website or by calling the Selectmen's office. For anyone interested in volunteering, there are several vacancies on various committees and boards. To see a complete list of the openings, please visit our website at kingstonma.gov. Also check the website for any additional events or notices. Our annual town meeting will be held Saturday, May 2nd at Kingston Intermediate School. I forget what time, is it?
It's usually 9.
9 a.m. Thank you, Will.
Okay.
Sounds right. And then our town election will be on Saturday, May 16th. So please see the town's website for more information. I also want to say congratulations to James Reed on his retirement from the fire department. He started as a call firefighter in June of 1991, appointed full-time September of 1995, and he's retiring March 31st, 2026, with a total of 35 years of service to the town. So Jim will remain with us as a call firefighter. So congratulations to him and thank you for all of his service. No. But we do have a plaque that we're going to give him. All right, so
Next meeting we can get him in so I can get a picture of the plaque.
I can ask him, yeah. All right, so next up is open forum. If anybody has anything they want to say, they can, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Powell, the Ecology Program Director for the Jones River Watershed Association, and I just wanted to put in a plug for the annual herring count, which begins April 1st. We actually operate 2 of them in Kingston, one at Souls Pond, which is just off Elm Street, and one at Forge Pond, which is just off Lake Street near the high school. We're going to be doing an in-person training at Jones River Landing, 55 Landing Road, and that's going to be Sunday, March 29th at 1 p.m. It's a pretty easy thing. You just stare at a ladder for 10 minutes, look at some fish, get to enjoy nature. It's just a nice, easy thing. So we'd appreciate volunteers if anybody's interested. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
And starting April 1st, but when does that end approximately?
May 31st.
May 31st, okay.
It ends May 31st.
Anybody else for open forum? Val?
Hi, Valerie Massard, Town Planner. Just wanted to make an announcement that we're holding our second workshop on Main Street in terms of planning for future redesign of that a little bit. On April 23rd at 6 p.m. Anyone from the public is welcome to join us, and it's here in this room, room 200 at the Town Hall.
Awesome, thank you. And I forgot to mention in the announcement section, and I do this anytime we have people actually attend our meeting. Some of you were here before and heard me say this, but we have plenty of openings for our boards and committees, appointed boards and committees, even elected as well. Finance committee always needs members. You don't have to be an expert. You just need to be willing to help out, spend some time helping your town and your neighbors. Again, you don't have to be an expert. It helps to just be willing to learn and deliberate and talk amongst, the other board members, committee members, and to help make decisions. Well, go ahead up there. What's that?
You can go up and speak.
Yeah. Do you want to say something?
Will Cushman, 273 Main Street. I just wanted to also put a small memo in that the Commission on Disability is still looking for members, so if anybody wants to join, please contact the Board of Selectmen at the Town Hall. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. All right, was there anybody else for open forum before we move on? Anybody online that wanted to speak? Doesn't look like it. Nope, okay. So our first appointment tonight is the introduction of a new civil service police officer, Dylan Oxon. Police Chief Holmes is here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, Ms. Tucker, Mr. Lambiese. Tonight, we're introducing a candidate. The candidate has been authorized, the board has authorized me to hire on behalf of the board, so Lieutenant Bateman will be introducing our candidate tonight.
Good evening. New candidate for hire is Mr. Dylan Oxton. He's a Plymouth resident. He grew up in Plymouth, went to Assumption College. He's been a post-certified police officer since 2020. He spent his first part of his career so far with Plymouth. He made a transition over to BCI, Plymouth County BCI, and now he's going to be hopefully working for us as long as he makes the conditional requirements. He's strong experience and strong preferences from his professional, other professional people. So with that, it's Mr. Oxon, and we'll be lucky to have him.
Awesome.
Just going to say a quick hello to the board.
Yep.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Chief. All right, moving on. Our next appointment is 6:05 PM to discuss the acceptance of and layout of certain roadways known as Captain's Jones Way and Barrows Brook Circle, as shown on a plan entitled Jones River Estates Subdivision as Built Plan, 2 sheets prepared by McKenzie Engineering Group of Norwell, Mass., dated January 1, 2024, as Public Ways, and Timber Ridge and Sequoia Drive, as shown on a plan entitled Tall Timber Estates, Phase 5, Comprehensive Permit Plan Lotting Sheet, 3 sheets, Kingston, Mass., prepared by McKenzie Engineering Group of Norwell, Mass., dated July 19th, 2018, as Public Ways. Val, did you want to introduce all this?
Narrowing down, coming through the process, which is lengthy, of dealing with the possibility of accepting some private streets as public ways. At this point, we've gone through a public hearing, we've gone through the planning board, we've gone through department review, and we've had a lot of back and forth with the residents. And we have a pretty good idea now of the costs that might be associated with the acceptance of these as public ways. They're not very expensive. And what we've talked with the residents about is that they're willing to pay those costs. So the stage that we're at tonight is the final stage before this would go on to the warrant. You're acting as road commissioners, if you will. You are the road commissioners for the town, and this is your opportunity now to, and everyone's been noticed through a constable, are you willing or do you want to lay these ways out as public ways?
Okay, so just to be clear, so we're at step 6, I think, as you have in here, right? So we've received the planning board's report, and just to be clear, the planning board voted against accepting these, right?
Right. The planning board's position is that we don't have enough funding to maintain the public ways that we have now, that the residents who are buying into these subdivisions are aware that they are to be managed by the HOAs that are formed with the subdivision, and that so they didn't give you a report on the condition of the ways. I'll give you a report of the condition of the ways. They're new. They were constructed as requested and per the design that was approved by the planning board. We have had discussions with Captain Jones Way folks about getting rid of the speed hump and putting in speed tables. That's part of the agreed-upon costs that would be incurred. We're not doing any of that work unless and until you first vote these as public ways, and then that makes them eligible to go onto the warrant for town meeting to then vote. We didn't receive any comments from any other departments.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, just based on what you said, do we need that report before we can move forward?
You've received it.
Oh, we have, okay. Because I was looking at this and I didn't see it in here, but that's fine. I see the as-built, but if that's what we consider,
They voted against.
I saw that vote, but
That's
the
it.
policy
That's
says.
the report.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
Because it just says, once the approvals and signatures, the approved conceptual layout plan will be forwarded to the planning board review to advise if the road is adequately built and constructed. So I guess that's the part that was confusing to me, is if they voted against moving forward, it almost implies that it's not
So
adequately
I'm
built.
I'm clarifying for you that they are adequately built.
Good,
The
okay.
planning board chose not to report.
Understood.
And I spoke to Highway Department, and they're not concerned, well, there's two different roads.
Two different ones.
The Captain, well, two different areas. Captain Jones Way and Barrows Brook Circle, he said those are short roads. He's not really worried about the winter maintenance. And then the, what do you call it, the sweepers in the summer. They're relatively short roads. Obviously, the one downside is the speed humps, which will become speed tables, which are a little bit easier to work with. So they didn't seem to have an issue with it. He said it wasn't going to be that much more costly than doing the rest of the town. I mean, obviously, there is a cost associated with it.
My only question is, I'm assuming from what you've said that initially, right now, or in the next 3 months or 6 months, whatever it takes, the town will not be asked to spend $1 to get these roads in shape or to do anything on these roads for us to accept them.
That's correct.
That the cost that the planning board is concerned with is going forward, plowing the roads and repairing potholes or doing things like that. I personally don't like going against the planning board. However, in a circumstance like this where the roads are going to be 100% in the position, in the way that we expect our roads to be when we accept them, I probably am willing to go against the planning board in this situation.
I think it would be different if the planning board said no because they thought it wasn't constructed well, or they thought it was a liability of some kind in that
Right.
way. I think that would be a different conversation.
And keep in mind, we're coming off of a winter where we're, how much in the hole on our snow removal budget? 700,000?
Correct, approximately
Yeah.
700,000.
So this, bad timing.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had asked last year, it wouldn't have been a problem.
And Val, if this is approved tonight and it gets onto the warrant, what is required of them in the form of the table? Does that have to happen before the next winter? Is there a timeline when that has to happen?
I think there's a timeline that we have to act after town meeting
Okay.
to actually record the street layout plans.
Okay, that's
So
what I was
there is
wondering.
some timeline. I'm not familiar with it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think the last meeting we talked about, there would be language put into the article, right? That says like that table needs to be done.
Well, I went back and forth with town council today, and town council has put language into the layout petition that you have before you that states that the owners of the road that you have before you would be at their sole cost preparing the street acceptance plan and doing the title work, and that they would put the money aside for the speed tables, speed humps, if they don't do them themselves. So that language is in your street layout vote.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, emotion?
Can I ask a question?
Yes? Who was it? Pine?
Thank you very much. Pine Du Bois, 93 Elm Street. I was involved a little bit in both of these projects, and primarily on Captain Jones Way, there's a very large wetland stormwater system. Is that part of the agreement with the property owners, that there's going to be, you know, that maintenance of that, because it does take work.
So the town already owns those, and right now, the HOA is responsible for maintenance of those. If we were to accept these as public ways, we're talking about the acceptance of the drainage, as well as the road itself and any associated sidewalks. We are not, in the case of Captain Jones, talking about the underground septic lines that run up from each house through the pump and up to the leaching field.
Yeah, no, I'm just referring to the stormwater. As long as we're going to take good care of that, because it is a direct impact on the Jones River, and we do, I think, have a 200-foot riverfront area that's under conservation, if I'm not mistaken, on that.
No, you're correct.
Okay. And on Tall Timbers, I don't know about the stormwater up there, but I do also know that there was a open space, and I'm not sure if it ran all the way to Ring Road as it was supposed to. Does the planning board have that record?
The planning board was not involved whatsoever in this subdivision.
Or
It was
zoning
done.
board?
Zoning Board of
maybe?
Appeals
Yeah.
through 40B.
Right, so who would have the record of the easement there, the conservation easement?
That is on record. We have it.
Okay, great, excellent. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? No? Would anybody like to make a motion?
So I move to vote to lay out the Timber Ridge subdivision and Captain Jones subdivision as detailed in the agenda appendix.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. All right, thank you.
In case you're curious, it's like 2 pages long, and I didn't think you guys needed to sit through me reading all of that, so. I looked at it, that's why I was talking to him about, like, do I have to read this whole thing? Thank you, Val. So now this goes to on the warrant and to town meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, our next item is a public hearing to vote to opt out of early voting for annual town elections. So the town has the option to offer early voting for annual local elections. If approved, early voting would permit registered voters to vote for at least 1 week prior to the May 16th election. There would be additional costs for election workers and poll pad programming. Town clerk is recommending that the selectmen not approve early voting. So we
You have to
have,
read the public hearing notice, too?
yeah,
Okay,
I'm just not there yet.
that's fine, sir.
So I'll just skip over that. So the public hearing notice. The Kingston Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing at the Kingston Townhouse, 26 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Mass., on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, at 6:15 PM for public input concerning opting out of early voting by mail for the May 16th, 2026 annual town election. State law allows cities and towns to opt out of early voting by mail in local elections. A town can only opt out of by mail for a local election after the Board of Selectmen hold a public hearing and take a recorded vote to do so at least 45 days before the election. Someone want to make a motion to open the hearing?
I move the Board of Selectmen open the public hearing.
Second.
All right, would anybody from the public like to speak to this? Yes, let's take a vote on that.
Aye.
Who seconded that?
I did.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, sorry.
My name is Marsha Meekins. I live at 141 Lake Street, and I'm here to urge you to not opt out of early voting
What,
You have to hit the mic, sorry.
Oh, do I have to start all again?
yes.
My name is Marcia Meekins. I live at 141 Lake Street, and I'm here to urge you to not opt out of early voting at our local elections. The town suffers already from a lack of participation. I think this would be a signal in the wrong direction. I believe that we should encourage voting, more voting, easier voting, and I think that early voting is one way in which the town affords its residents many, many avenues to vote. I didn't see any data in the agenda other than some anecdotal comments by the town clerk, I believe, that there would be some cost associated with it. I think the town has borne those costs in the past. I don't think the town is so strapped for cash that it should take this step. I know it is strapped. I see the town manager over there. However, I think this is definitely the wrong step to take, even in very tight financial times. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Online?
Yep, go ahead, Pine.
Hi, Pine Du Bois, 93 Elm Street. I agree with the former speaker there. I have voted early for convenience, for no other reason really, but I can imagine somebody being out of town or needing to, take advantage of that. And if it's such an issue, did the clerk give us a cost to us that would demonstrate that it was so beyond our reach to be able to offer this as a tool for citizens? I think we really need to, engage the public and try and get everybody to be able to participate. So I would be in favor of keeping early voting. I did find it convenient, and I like being as flexible as possible.
To be clear, absentee ballots are always available, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, to the point of the previous speakers, thank you very much for speaking your opinion. Access to voting is imperative and something that we strive for every day in the clerk's office. The legislature in their infinite wisdom created early voting when we already have absentee voting. So if you're not able to come to the polls on election day, you have the option to vote absentee. You can come into our office early, or you can request a ballot be mailed to you for absentee voting. Early voting kind of just, it's another term. The difference is it's no excuses voting, but this would only be, this opts out of mailing. We're not required to do in-person early voting, and we won't and have never offered that for our local elections, for the annual town election. But as soon as the ballots are ready, you are able to come into the office and vote an absentee ballot, which is why we were comfortable with not opting in for early voting. The additional cost is postage is going up. Yes, you're right. It's not $10,000. It's also bandwidth of our staff in the office as well. So, thank you.
Is there anybody else online or here that want to speak?
No, I'm thankful for the clarification, because at first I was thinking the same thing, that it would negate the absentee ballot, and it's not that. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
All right, doesn't look like anybody else wanted to speak up. What?
I was just going to close it.
Okay, go ahead.
I move the Board of Selectmen close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any discussion? I'm fine with with opting out.
I've always felt that it's kind of a duplication
Right.
of the absentee ballot process, so that I have no objections to opting out.
All right, somebody want to make a motion?
I move the Board of Selectmen do not approve early voting for the May 16th, 2026 annual town election.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have an approval of a new common victualler license. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Places I've ever heard.
Finally got it close, for Jersey Mike's. So Mass Sub 6
Val?
LLC is requesting a new common victualler license for Jersey Mike's Sub Sandwich Shop. The said application is for 182 Summer Street, Suite 100, for the hours of 10 to 9 p.m. daily. All departments have signed off on this request. The building department will provide the occupancy permit once reviewed and approved by the board. So any questions, comments?
I'm very excited. That's my comment.
Yeah.
Very excited that Jersey Mike's is coming this way. Hopefully.
Right, all right.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the new common victualers license for Mass Subs 6 LLC for Jersey Mike's Subs Sandwich Shop.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Well, welcome to Kingston.
Thank you very much. We're excited to be here.
I'm looking forward to a large Mike's Way, I think it is, yeah.
We
All
got
right. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
All right.
Speaking of good luck,
Yeah.
It's run out.
Next on the agenda.
We're almost done. This next one's quick. Discussion of the FY 2027 budget.
I want to make sure that you do have the latest copy. I think that you do probably. But this one does reflect the numbers as we know of them to exist today. So this is just a status update. This isn't a full, complete budget at this point. I want to say that it is behind schedule, as we have mentioned, probably 6 to 8 weeks, and there's been a lot of transition, as you are all well aware, and certainly in my position, that's led to a lot of this. But all the departments have submitted their level service budget, so by definition, a level service budget reflects cost required to maintain existing services at their current levels. This accounts for contractual obligations, inflationary pressures, and known cost drivers. What this does not include is any new programs, expanded services, or additional staffing requests. And many departments identified programs and enhancements and operational improvements that they would like to pursue. In recognition of the current financial constraints, they have been deferred for this year. That being said, I would encourage that maybe at our next meeting, we start bringing in some of those departments, starting with probably police and fire and streets and trees, to let them at least have an opportunity to explain what those programs were that they would have liked to ask for, but they couldn't. So based on the most recent iteration, the one that I just handed out, we're currently projecting a deficit of a little over $300,000. And this gap that is there now is largely driven by the school committee's request to include the additional $400,000 contribution to set up and start a capitalized stabilization account. So I want to emphasize that overall, the requests from both the school districts are not unreasonable. In fact, the idea of having a capital stabilization program is a sound long-term strategy that we shouldn't dismiss. But given our current fiscal environment, it does present some challenges, and we really need to try and work on that and work within what we can balance right this year. On the revenue side, you'll see that we're moderately optimistic with our forecast. I do feel that we do have the appropriate level of conservatism in there. We don't want to push it too far, but I think that what we are estimating for our receipts is viable. We have not had certified free cash at this point. We're actively working. We are working with some consultants now to try and speed up the process and get us through and get it done. But some of the key decisions that we're going to have to make in the very near future will be, what we're going to do as far as capital, in capital funding. We do have a snow and ice deficit that we've been talking about that's in the 700,000 plus area. And we need to deal with the Silver Lake Regional School District request. So I do plan to engage with the school committee to explore some options that may work for them, and I'm sure there are some, that we can come together. And I think that we're in a good place right now that we can balance this budget. The school committee is actually coming to the finance committee Thursday night. So we're looking forward to starting that discussion then with them. Overall, I do want to, thank the finance director. I want to thank the department heads and George. I think you all remember George. He's been working diligently with me also to put this budget together and considering that we, as he said, we started it late, but we are in, overall, I feel like we're in a good position that we can get this over the hump relatively soon.
So same question as last time. Do we need to move town meeting?
I don't feel that we do have to move town meeting. I
Okay.
think if we want to revisit that, in 2 weeks when we meet again, we certainly can, but I feel that we would be able to get this budget prepared and balanced and good to go.
Is there, I know that the free cash is not certified yet, and I know, I understand that. Is there any detriment to us for not having it done at a certain timing? Is there?
Yeah, certainly we need to know sooner or later. That does drive a lot of the decisions that we want to make. It will drive decisions with maybe what we can do with the schools. It will drive decisions, obviously, on any capital programs. It will drive decisions on our snow and ice deficit and, what we want to do if we have to request money from the stabilization account to help with some of those issues. Obviously that the snowstorms were much bigger this year than ever expected, and if there was ever a time to maybe consider using stabilization funds, this would be a time that I would probably recommend it. So, yeah, it is important in a lot of the future decisions that we have to make. And so, to that extent, I will continue to update the board frequently. Certainly, anything that comes up within the next couple of weeks, I'll make sure the board's aware of it, and then, we'll have this discussion again in 2 weeks. And I do want to thank Carl, because he's actually been helping quite a bit on this budget as well.
The only comment I'd like to make is in relation to Silver Lake and the assessment, that we need to recognize that Silver Lake did a 2.5% bottom line operating expense budget. And they put this line item in for their capital for the $400K or thereabouts for the town of Kingston. I'm a little concerned that if we push back too hard, if they do decide, or if they want to try to do anything with this $400K, that they may say, hey, we tried to offset that by doing a 2.5% increase. We have some reductions because of that 2.5% increase, so that if you're not going to approve us doing the $400K as a line item, then we're going to increase other items in the budget, so that I believe we'd probably end up with 3.3% as the assessment, no matter what. I would kind of challenge the administration here to continue to look at the operations to pick up 300 to 400K. For instance, public safety, it has, police and fire has salaries of $9.2 million, including overtime of $1,250,000 or thereabouts. So, if we were to ask for $100K of overtime reduction, that's $100K coming out of $1,300,000, $100K coming out of $9.2 million. Employee benefits is the 9.5 million, which is up $750,000 or 8.5%. I would look at taking a challenge there. Maybe I can't support it, but I'll take a if I'm running the show, take a challenge of reducing that by 100K or so. Public Works, Human Services, Recreation, all put together have a budget of, I don't know, $3-4 million, okay? Can I find 100,000 there? Wastewater and water. Can we, you know, we really don't have finalized what the charges to them are gonna be, so that may pick up something. The streets, trees, and parks, okay, there's a 200K line item in there above and beyond the state aid that we use to resurface roads. So if we have to make a sacrifice one year to, you know, cut that 200K in half, there's another possible 100K. A lot of these items that I'm talking about are, to me, an effort to say, hey, we're gonna get by one more year without a Proposition 2.5, recognizing that tightening up everything this year may make it more necessary that we have a 2.5 override next year. The final item, I think we've discussed before, is the possibility of, I'll get back to this 400K line item from the schools for their, capital going forward. If we wanted to do an override just for that item, you can do an override for that item with no impact to the taxpayers. Because what you've done is you've taken 400K of revenue out, okay? So that means you have less ability to spend. You can't spend that 400K in the budget. So if you did a reclassification in the form of a override just for that item, think of it as I had $1 million of revenue, including $100,000 for this particular, for the debt financing. Now, that $100,000 went away, so I've only got $900. So that last year I could have expenses of $1 million because I had $1 million in revenue. Now, if I added back that 100K, then I'm back to being able to spend the $1 million, but I don't have an impact to taxpayers. My concern with that is I can see the strange looks here. Getting people to understand it at a town meeting may be, it certainly will be difficult, possibly impossible. I think my last item on my wish list is to work with the assessing the people and say, hey, can I find another 50K of new growth? Can I get by with 50K less of the overlay? So there's 100K. So I just, you know, would encourage us to all be working together to find ways to, the local schools, I'd rather try to work with the local schools than the Silver Lake. The local schools, you know, if we have extra free cash, which we probably not, but let's say free cash comes in stronger than we expect. Okay, schools, can we deal with you? You reduce your budget by 100K, we'll give you a line item of 100K of free cash to go out and buy some of your technology, which we used to do all the time, okay? So that I agree 100% with Scott that there are ways to take care of this 300 to 400K of a challenge that we have right now. And I just wanted to put some of those items out on the table for us to all be thinking about, so that the next time around, if Scott comes back and says, I can't do anything with Silver Lake, okay, I've still got a 300K problem. Okay, Scott, okay, fire, police, we're asking you to reduce 100K. And of course, I'm expecting my finance committee, I see the finance chair here, to come up with some reductions in the budget along the way, but anyhow.
One would think so. Our finance committee doesn't always cut stuff, though, in my experience, in the past. I'm looking at you, Carl.
Up until the last year.
All right.
They always did. But anyhow, that's just my 2 cents worth from my experience in dealing with the budgets, et cetera. And I was hoping to come in here, meeting with Scott and George this morning, I was hoping to come in and say, oh, we're so conservative in excise tax revenue and ambulance revenue, by far the two biggest ones that we have local control over, that we could say, hey, come on, guys, pick up some revenue. But I agree with Scott. I think that he's got those numbers about as high as I dare to go on them.
I would say the one caveat to this conversation of just squeaking by is that we have contracts to negotiate, and we're not talking about the content of that, obviously, because negotiations are in progress. But right now, this is assuming no anything, right? So, I mean, we have to consider that that's a piece of this puzzle that we just don't have yet.
Yeah.
And I would like to say we cross that bridge when we come to it.
We're pretty much on the bridge.
Fall town meeting.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Scott. Moving on, we have an acceptance of donation to Council on Aging. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move the Board of Selectmen accept the donations made to the Kingston Council on Aging, $25 from Robert and Melody Tassinari, $50 from John and Catherine Coco.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Close annual Springtown meeting warrant. So we don't have any articles yet, but are we closing it and
We're closing it.
and reopen to put,
So the opportunity for submission.
Yeah.
or any other article.
So keeping in mind, we can
can
edit
always
them,
open
Yep.
but we can edit the language of them. But the idea is that the articles that we are expecting to receive, we've received, so that we can start working with legal counsel and work out all the details.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion?
My comment before that's made, because I've said it every year, I like the idea of closing the warrant and keeping it closed unless there's major items, that we don't reopen it because we need to do something for $10,000 here, there, or wherever.
Yep.
That's it.
Plus, if we have to open it, you can always reopen it, you can always vote no.
Yes.
I'll let someone else close it.
I move the Board of Selectmen to close the 2026 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Town administrators report. Yeah, no, that's a good report. Selectmen comments, anything? No? Next regular meeting, April 7th, 2026, and a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's it. We're done.
6:54 PM.
Not too bad.